A leaked copy of the Trump team's plans for the EPA is making its rounds on the news cycle, and boy, is it not good. Now, the EPA's Energy Action Plan, as it's called, is considered the guiding document and was written by Myron Abel. Now, Myron Abel is a guy who's in charge of the Competitive Enterprise Institute. It is a libertarian think tank that is, of course, opposed to the idea that human activity has contributed to climate change through the burning of fossil fuels. So they've already made it clear, and they've published a lot of bullshit articles that were debunked by actual scientists. Stuff like the climate, that carbon is good and it's greening the planet, and we should pump out more. We should pump more carbon in the atmosphere by burning more fossil fuels. That just happened to get our donors very, very rich, but I'll get to that in a minute. Now, one of the sections titled "Addendum on the Problems with the EPA," with EPA Science, leads on with this paragraph, and it explains what they're going to do with the EPA and what they think the problems are. It says the EPA does not use science to guide regulatory policy as much as it uses regulatory policy to steer the science. This is an old problem at the EPA. In 1992, a blue ribbon panel of EPA Science advisors that said that, quote, science should not be adjusted to fit policy, but rather than heed the device, the EPA has greatly increased its science manipulation. Manipulation. Oh boy. Okay, so basically what they're saying in this document is that the EPA is manipulating science to show that, to try to prove climate change exists, even though it doesn't. So it's manipulation that the Earth continues to set record temperatures every year. Well, 2016 being the hottest year on record. And guaranteed 2017 is probably also going to be the hottest year on record. Or how about it's manipulation that that the oceans are facing record acidification from absorbing all the excess carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Or how about, I don't know, the droughts that, while not caused by climate change, because we've had droughts before, massive climate change. However, the effects have been exacerbated by it, longer droughts. They're longer, they last longer, they're drier, okay? So, but no. All that's just manipulation. That doesn't actually exist. Oh, I see. So, no. Any science, and look, any science-backed data suggested and manipulated, it's not climate change. No. It's not. It's manipulated. You know what I should call this? Alternative weather. That's what it is. Now, the document goes on to suggest what can be done to improve the use of science by the EPA. They say the EPA should not be funding any scientific research. Oh, right. Okay. They said, they continue that the EPA uses scientific data for regulation. That data must be publicly available so independent scientists can review it. I'm not against independent scientists, as long as they're truly independent. They have to be truly independent, and which most scientists actually are, because they're scientists. But anyway, the EPA science advisory process needs to be overhauled to eliminate conflicts of interest and inherent bias. Again, that's the supposition that it's inherently biased and has conflicts of interest. And number 4, science standards need to be developed and implemented to ensure that science policy decisions and epidemiological, that's a hard word, practices are based on sound science. So basically what this is saying is that right now, number 4 says what we're doing is not based on sound science. But the problem is that it is based on science. It is based on facts. And it also, of course, alleges inherent bias and conflict of interest. Well, no one would know more about conflicts of interest than the Competitive Enterprise Institute, which is what Myron Abel actually heads. Now, the Competitive Enterprise Institute is an associate member of the State Policy Network, which is, of course, a libertarian think tank that is funded by Koch brothers. Now, the Koch brothers, of course, do give millions of dollars to these think tanks to put out junk science, like some of the stuff from the Competitive Enterprise Institute. The stuff that says carbon is fantastic, and that we should put up more. Well, carbon is necessary to our atmosphere, but you put too much, you disrupt the balance, you cause change in the climate. Climate change. That's pretty simple, right? Now, why would they do this? Well, it's because Koch Industries is a major oil company. They do a lot of involved with petroleum. In fact, they own all the oil refineries in Texas that happen to be a major contributor to climate change. Interesting. Now, I wonder why they would ever want to fund climate denial. I don't understand. Could it be that their entire business model hinges on burning fossil fuels? Could it be? Could it be? Maybe not. Look, the truth is they've long hated the EPA. And now they're getting their wish because with incoming EPA Chairman Scott Pruitt, they're going to actually get the chance to finally defund it, destroy it. Or basically neuter it, render it completely toothless. And see, look at what they've done. The administration so far gagged the EPA and government officials from actually using social media accounts and publishing papers. Now, they did it for a while. That gag order is actually gone. But while it was there, the Department of Health and Human Services and the Department of Agriculture, along with the EPA, were told to suspend all external communications. The ban included the issuing of press releases, blogs, messages on Twitter, and Facebook posts. According to the information leaked to several media organizations, all media requests must be screened by the administration. Why? To make sure all information met the standards of our new overlords. They essentially don't want them tweeting out something that is ideologically opposed to Donald Trump or Scott Pruitt or any of these other people who don't actually believe in science. So no tweeting out science because we don't believe in science. No tweeting out facts. We don't believe in facts. So that's what we have here. And look, that leaked memo is essentially the same thing. If the EPA and Donald Trump had their way, I could see those Twitter accounts suddenly tweeting out things like how carbon isn't so bad for the environment after all. Climate change? No, don't worry about that. Doesn't exist. Or climate has always been changing. We were wrong. This entire thing is chilling. Very chilling. They're trying to basically stifle science. They're defunding science, and they're defunding the arts, of course. They're essentially trying to destroy everything that we fought for the last few decades. Gone. Science, we don't believe in science. Gone. And they want to replace it all with alternative facts that, of course, suit their agenda and the agenda, of course, of the people who pay them. They're paymasters. Again, with everything, you do have to follow the money. And the money right now is in less regulation and more fossil fuels. Less alternative energy, more fracking, more drilling for oil. Getting into, ANWR and all that stuff. Dakota Access, Keystone XL. There's money to be made there. And Donald Trump himself has investments in the Dakota Access Pipeline. So there you go. And again, this is where it all comes from. It all comes down to the money, the people who control the money. You got to pay attention to the men behind the curtain, man. Those are the ones pulling the strings. And those are the ones that are putting us all in danger. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent, non-corporate media, go to our Patreon page and become a patron. Patreon.com/TYTNation.